hair is growing back. In the places where the dermatologist said it would be almost impossible, I have got hair growth coming back in those places.
It's not impossible here, and you know that. Hey everyone, today we are interviewing Michon. Michon is a former nurse practitioner who's struggled dealing with the autoimmune disorder of alopecia areata. But a lot of people don't realize that when you have one autoimmune diagnosis, you actually have tons of other targets of autoimmune attack with other diagnoses and symptoms. So as you will see going into this interview, she had other symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, constipation, and severe heartburn that was very life limiting. So I can't wait for you guys to see where she is just 2 months later and where she's going to be over the course of this next year. I'm Maggie, UMD, and I am a functional and holistic medicine physician. I'm the creator of the Transform Protocol and the Facebook group Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. If you want to learn more about how to transform your autoimmunity, make sure you click the link above or below this video and join our Facebook group Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up and a subscribe so you get notified every time we go live. And if you're watching from Instagram, give us a follow. All right, Michon, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Well, my name is Michon. I am the mother of a daughter who is now grown and off on her own. I am a dog mommy to Esme.
Me too.
I also love to spend time outdoors hiking, and I enjoy time in my garden that's out in my backyard.
So Michon, would you share with us what autoimmune diagnosis or symptoms you had prior to joining this program? What have you been struggling with?
Well, hair loss from alopecia areata, horrific GERD, and constipation my whole entire life.
So let's talk about the alopecia areata. We know that's autoimmune. A lot of people don't realize that most hair loss actually have to do with some autoimmune component, but for sure, 100% people with alopecia areata, which happens in circles, we know that's autoimmune. So question, you said you've had it for about 4 years, correct?
Yes.
What kind of impact has that had on your life? People are like, hair loss, big deal. You're not hurting. What's the big deal?
Oh, it's huge. It happens later in life. I always had really thick, pretty hair. And so when it started falling out, it hit me. It was just huge because, you know, it was my, how I felt about it. It attacked my image, how I felt about myself.
Yeah.
Especially out in public. It brought a lot of shame. I don't know. I drew back from participating in things. I didn't want people to know what was going on. I didn't want to show them. I had to start wearing a wig, which was very uncomfortable. It really took a mental toll, and I had to work through that. I had to come to an acceptance, in a sense, of the hair loss, that I had no control over it. There was also a lot of anger. I was mad at my body because it was like, I've always taken care of myself. Why are you rebelling against me now at this stage of my life?
I think it's interesting. That's a mindset issue. The way you came in was, I'm mad at my body. Why are you misbehaving now? But I feel like a big shift would be, wow, you must be fighting really hard against something. What can I do to help you? A lot of times we tend to actually get mad at our body, but in fact, we need to actually have gratitude and empathy for our body on how hard of a battle they're actually fighting and how little help they're getting from us.
Exactly. And I knew something had gone wrong. You know, I was like, something is wrong because this should not be happening.
How did you know something was wrong? A lot of people out there with autoimmunity. I mean, I'm sure you went to see your physician about the alopecia, and you also have severe GERD, heartburn, as well as constipation. I'm sure you went to a physician or multiple physicians or dermatologists. Did you get a sense beyond what they were telling you that something was wrong?
Not from them. I didn't get that from them. I knew something was not right, but I didn't get that back from them. That, there is something wrong. Let's try to find out why this happened. I just always got the Band-Aids.
So you went in, they're just like, oh, that's what this is. Here's the Band-Aid.
Right.
What were the Band-Aids?
With the alopecia, I did injectable steroids in my scalp, which was extremely painful.
And if that worked and solved the problem, we'd say, hey, goody. Did it work? Did it solve the problem?
No, it didn't. And I told them eventually, let's just stop. This is not working and the pain's not worth it. They did topical steroids, which did nothing. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this either.
That actually thins your skin.
Right, it does. And then as far as anything else, there wasn't really anything else at the time available for the alopecia.
Was it even discussed that it was an autoimmune disorder with an underlying cause, and it doesn't just stop at your hair, that when you have your body mistaking one part of your body as a germ, like your hair follicles on your head, the likelihood of it mistaking many other body parts as a target of attack is 100%. This is literally sitting duck material for lupus, MS, other autoimmune diagnosis. Was that even acknowledged by any of the doctors that you saw?
No, I mean, they would acknowledge it was autoimmune, but they didn't acknowledge any of the other stuff.
I don't think they know.
I don't think they do either.
Seriously, you go to a dermatologist, they're just there to like offer you topical steroids, maybe an injectable procedure, and that's it. I mean, they really have no training or understanding that what an autoimmune disorder really is, and that there are even underlying causes. If you ask a typical dermatologist or a GI doctor, do they understand that autoimmune disease is systemic and that there are ways to figure out what's causing it? The answer you're going to get is a blank stare, because they have zero training in that, right? They're doing the best they can. They're Band-Aid dispensers. I know, because I did it. I dispensed Band-Aid for years until I got sick. Can you tell me more about the GERD? I mean, heartburn, GERD, another word for reflux or heartburn. How many years? You said 10 plus years.
Yeah. And the problem with that was that it was all the time. Like it just wasn't with eating. It happened every time I eat, but it happened in between meals. It happened at night. It was just an all the time thing. And all I got from that was PPIs,
Proton pump inhibitors. So what did you take? Nexium, Protonix? What did you take?
I took Protonix. I started taking it in 2017.
Wow. So like 4 or 5 years of taking that. 5 years.
Yes. Yeah. And it didn't work. And I
even went. You took it for 5 years and it didn't work.
It didn't work. Right.
Why did you take it for 5 years if it didn't work?
Well, because when I tried to stop it, it would even get worse.
Correct. So you should take it, and then it became a dependence on it, but it didn't work. But when she stopped it, it got worse. Right. So something was feeding and causing this heartburn that never got fixed and was in fact really bad. But this medication did not help, just made you dependent on it to prevent it from getting even worse.
And on top of that, I even went through the reflux surgery, the Nissen procedure.
The Nissen procedure. Did that work?
No, that didn't work either.
Thousands spent in surgery on a procedure rather than fixing the root cause. And then what?
Well, I had them wean me off of the PPI because I'm like, I'm not taking this because it's not working.
It's not working.
It's not working, right? I had them wean me off of it. And, the reflux, it just went on. Then I started questioning, is this part of the autoimmunity?
Yes. Yes. And hell yes. See, you were 10 times smarter than all your doctors right there with that question. Everybody who has heartburn right now should be asking this question. Is my heartburn associated with my autoimmunity?
I even asked the GI doctor that.
And he said?
They couldn't answer it.
Because he doesn't know.
Yeah, they couldn't give me an answer. And I'm just like, well, there's something not right because this should not be happening. This should not be occurring the way it is. And if you look at me, I don't have reasons to have this. I'm not overweight. I'm not,
You're not sleeping upside down, hung up on a tree,
Exactly. There's a reason that I would have this sort of dysfunction. and
except for the fact that you have a rip-roaring autoimmune disease already diagnosed.
Right. And they know that. They knew that I had this autoimmune disease. And I was starting to say, there's got to be a connection somewhere.
And Michon, long-term PPI is associated with higher risk for osteoporosis, cancers, pain, neuropathy, inflammation, you name it. And you were on it for 5 years and it didn't even work.
No.
So constipation, how long were you dealing with the constipation for?
Since I was a little girl.
So now are you starting to look back at that and starting to question, did I have the roots for autoimmunity even as a little girl?
Yes, definitely.
Let's talk about this. So you just recently graduated from the 2-month online program, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. I tell people it's a 2-month program to launch you into a year of autoimmune turnaround, which means that right now at the 2-month mark, it's literally the tip of the iceberg in results. And there's going to be more and more results coming this year. Where are you at with these symptoms? Let's go through each of them. As far as constipation, where are you at right now?
It has resolved.
Since she was a little girl, number one. Where's the heartburn right now?
The heartburn is, I would say, 85% improved.
85% resolving, right?
Yeah,
and has it ever happened in the last 4 or 5 years since you've had heartburn?
No.
Okay, we're going to talk about why this is happening. And then alopecia areata, bald patches, literally complete hair loss in those patches. Where are we at with that? Just in 2 months. And I want to be really clear with everybody. Hair regrowth cycle take 3 months. Okay. So a lot of times people don't even see baby hairs until the 3-month mark. So I'm curious where you're at with the alopecia areata.
I have hair growth stubble occurring in my bald patches.
Yeah.
But my hair is growing back and it's actually getting thicker in the back, in the places where the dermatologist said that if I had hair loss there, it would be almost impossible to get any hair growth back. I have got hair growth coming back in those places.
It's not impossible here, and you know that.
I know. Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I love this is where Michon literally have seen tons of dermatologists and they're telling her it's impossible for certain areas of that hair to grow back. And here she is just 2 months later with hair regrowing back in those exact areas that she was told was impossible. So let's talk secret sauce. I mean, you've been in the program for 2 months. I would love to know, let's start with the hair loss. What do you think were the biggest linchpins? What has caused the impossible to happen, to have hair grow back in impossible to grow back areas?
I really think it's the blood sugar balancing that has had a huge impact in that.
Huge.
Yeah, huge. And sometimes I would question, am I doing this right? Is my blood sugar really balancing? And I guess it has been because, I'm seeing the results of the hair growth.
So blood sugar balancing, are you one of those people like the many people who are watching this video right now who says, I got blood sugar, like I'm cutting out sugar or I'm fine with blood sugar. Blood sugar is not my problem. Were you one of those people when you came into the program?
Yeah, I was thinking I didn't have blood sugar problem.
I laugh at that.
Yeah. But I clearly did. And
Hell yes.
And I didn't realize it until I got in this program and then started eating like I was supposed to and all that. And then if I don't have that snack in between meals, then I can tell that my blood sugar has dropped.
Because you actually understand what blood sugar problems really are. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Anyone watching this video, if you have autoimmune disease, you have blood sugar problems. And I had to discover that the hard way, Michon. I mean, I'm a doctor with autoimmune disease. And I'm like, I got my blood sugar licked, right? No. I mean, it's through my hard-earned own experience and helping thousands of people over the last 12 years through autoimmunity that I figured out, oh my God, this is a common thread. There's something genetically going on with people with autoimmune disease where they have crazy ass highs and lows fluctuating back and forth all freaking day. And that triggers the autoimmune attack.
Right.
So you knew for sure because after you started learning blood sugar mastery, you noticed symptoms decreased as soon as you had a bad day or you realized there were moments you started to realize, oh, that's low blood sugar.
Yes.
What were the symptoms that was a telltale sign for you that you were in low blood sugar now that you're aware of it?
I get super sleepy.
Sleepy, tired. What about the afternoon slump?
Yeah. A lot of times it would hit like in between lunch and dinner.
Now you know.
Now I know what that is. And I would wake up in the middle of the night like clockwork, like at 2:00. And now I know why.
But how are you sleeping now?
Oh, I sleep a lot better now. Yeah. I don't wake up as often.
Let's talk about digestion. How was your digestion part of the program now that you understand digestion?
Oh, my digestion was horrible.
I know.
It was
You
horrible.
didn't know that. Your GI didn't know that.
No. I mean, I had no idea I wasn't absorbing things that I should have been. I had no idea.
Well, that's the thing. That's really key, everybody. Do you know that just coming into the program, anybody with autoimmune disease, you already come in, 90% of you have already very little to no stomach acid genetically if you have an autoimmune disease. That's the first step in digestion. And there's many steps. If that step's already broken 90% of you, then what's the likelihood everybody has some sort of digestion problem with autoimmune disease is 100%. And then think about it, Michon, if you're not digesting certain things properly, let's say B12, iron, your food, your proteins, your fat, how do you make hair?
You don't very well. You don't very well.
How do you make hair? Right?
Yeah. You don't do it very well at all. I didn't realize, I mean, I should have, but.
Why should you when your doctors don't realize?
Well, I mean, I had some clues.
A lot of clues, but they were missing it.
Oh, they were missing it.
What were your clues your digestion was off?
I could tell that things were having trouble moving. Like I felt full. I just felt like
food is stuck. Yeah.
Like it wasn't moving the way it should.
So heartburn is a digestion problem. That's a symptom of what digestion problem? Do you have any idea?
Oh, low stomach acid.
Yes.
Yes.
So here's the thing. The regular conventional doc says, let's just shut off stomach acid when you have heartburn. But the thing is 99% of people with heartburn problems actually have the opposite problem, which is low stomach acid. That's what's causing the symptom. So I want to know what happened when you started to learn about hydration, chewing your food, everything in our digestion module. What did you notice changed?
I could tell that things were moving through my system better, for one. Two,
Bowels were moving.
yeah, things started to move better. The reflux started to decrease. It started to reduce in severity. And that started with just drinking enough water.
This is why we have the 10-day water challenge when people start this program, and in the Facebook group. Drinking water helps digestion.
Yes.
Yes.
And then adding the digested on top of it, that just improved it.
Isn't that interesting? Taking digested, which has some stomach acid in there, actually decreases heartburn. What does it tell you about the underlying root cause of heartburn? Low stomach acid, everybody. And these results don't lie, right? When you actually fix digestion, you actually absorb all the vitamins and minerals that's crucial to hair growth.
Yeah.
When you actually have digestion and you have, I don't even know what happened with constipation, but once you have a bowel movement at least once every single day, you remove the toxins that actually can stunt hair growth or cause inflammation and autoimmunity. So how quickly did you notice constipation started to resolve?
That started improving as I increased my fiber intake and started to drink the water that I should be drinking every day. I noticed the constipation start to improve.
That's within the first 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, and that was huge because I mean, I could go days without having a bowel movement.
And that's days of toxins you're reabsorbing into your body.
Yeah, I started going every day, which has probably never happened in my whole life. I was just like, wow.
This is the first time you're not toxic every day of your life.
Yeah, and now on top of that, I started feeling better,
Oh my gosh.
Things were leaving that needed to leave. It was amazing.
So blood sugar, digestion, and then did you find any laboratories that really contributed to the hair loss that you figured out in any of the laboratory data you received? How's your iron? How's your thyroid?
My thyroid was good.
Good.
My iron it wasn't bad, but it was below the optimum range.
That's the key, optimal values,
right?
Not just what's normal at a lab. So when your iron is suboptimal, you can't grow back hair, everybody. Okay. And learning how to understand what optimal values are also really important. Okay. Now, food mapping. Were there any surprises when you did food mapping? Or you were good?
No, I suspected that I had a dairy sensitivity and almonds, but I couldn't prove it. But the food mapping proved what I was thinking.
So it validated some of the symptoms that you're already feeling from your body that a lot of your doctors dismiss. So like, no, you don't have to get off dairy. You don't have to be off almond. Even you're like, I think I'm feeling symptoms. They're like, it doesn't make a difference.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. How many times have you seen on our mastermind calls that the hormone or the lab result or the food mapping reaffirmed what someone actually knew inside already?
Oh yeah, it happened a lot.
It happened a lot. And this is how people can gain certainty. It's like, you're not cuckoo. There's actually data that backs you up. And I'm not feeling your aura in this. This is actually your blood results. What would you say was the most impactful part of the program for you?
Well, as far as the shocker, I guess my hormone results really. I mean, I would tell my husband, I'm pretty sure my hormones are off, but I had no idea that they were in the pits,
In the pits. Explain the pits to people who out in the audience.
Well, everything was low across the board. Just none.
None. And what age range are you in, Michon?
I am 51.
51 and probably has the hormones of what? Did I say an 81-year-old?
Yeah, yes, like an 80-year-old woman.
So she also had the hair of an 80-year-old woman, which is a lot of hair loss. Okay. So this is really important. There's a huge hormonal component. And on top of it, it's not like you're doomed. It's like, there's no reason a 51-year-old woman should have hormones that bad. I had that hormone when I was 36 because of my autoimmune disease. And I had hair loss like that, because of my autoimmune disease at that time too. So here's the thing. Once you find out the pattern and you understand that feeds into autoimmune disease, there's something you can do about it. And are you already starting to see some results from your hormone interventions?
Yeah, I've noticed that already. My mood has improved. My husband confirmed that I'm in a better mood. I'm not so grouchy.
Husband says, not so grouchy.
Yeah, that he likes that part.
Yeah. And you'd even list that as one of the major symptoms: irritability,
Oh,
brain
I
fog.
didn't. I guess I've been irritable for so long. I don't even consider it as a symptom.
You just think that's who Michon is?
Yeah, that's Michon. It's just
No.
but yeah, I've noticed that my mood has improved. I just feel even better. And that's just a few weeks of just hormonal replacement. So,
Well, and it's hormone balancing. That's the thing is, it's not just about taking hormones. The thing is, people out there prescribing hormones know nothing about hormone balancing. And so hormone balancing isn't just about like, oh, this is low. You can go ahead and replace your hormones. What else are you doing to balance your hormones?
supplementation and eating cruciferous vegetables.
Tons. Which really helps in digestion.
Yeah, so I try to incorporate them in every meal.
I love
Not
that.
always successful, but I try to.
I love that. Well, you're successful because you're seeing the results. Do you see that?
Yeah, yeah. And I make my husband eat them too. So.
Well, speaking of husband, I'd love to know, how do you think your relationships have changed with the people around you with the improvement of these symptoms?
I am probably more pleasant to be around.
He would say definitely more pleasant to be around.
More pleasant to be around. I'm happier. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not as closed off. I'm more open.
You look different. I mean, you look open.
Do I look different? Do I look it? Yeah.
You look it.
I feel it. So, we went to this art and craft fair and I'm sitting there talking to these people, don't even know these people. I went up to buy honey off of a lady, found out that she lived near us, had no idea who she was. And I just started talking. I would have never have done that before.
Really?
Yeah, I would have never done that before.
That's huge.
Yeah. And I can remember when I was younger that I was like that, and then I don't know. I guess I've just been so screwed up for so long that I changed.
You are changing.
Yeah, so I was like, I want that feisty girl back that I used to be.
She's back.
So yeah, so I started to do things that I probably would have done when I was much younger.
Tell me what those things are. Tell me, what are some things?
Just, being joyful, living with joy, being excited to just participate, in life, or actually be joyful to go be around people.
I mean, to go full circle, you mentioned that when you have alopecia areata, you also further socially withdrew.
Yes, I did.
And right now the hairs are growing back, but overall mood is improved, energy is improving, focus is improving, constipation, digestion is improving.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you want to actually be able to be socially engaged with other people more.
Yes, that's what I feel like. I feel like I want to re-engage.
You are re-engaging.
I know. I know, but it's been a long time since I have felt like that, So.
But that's the, I think, invisible price for autoimmune disease. That's unquantifiable for doctors and for people with autoimmune disease. They don't realize how much of a heavy price and burden that is to actually be walking around with an autoimmune disease, just of your hair. People think just hair, big deal. But this has an impact on your whole body, actually, and on your mental health and your self-image.
Yes. Self-image was huge, and I'm a nurse practitioner, but I haven't worked in a long time.
And why is that?
I just lost my moxie.
Mm.
It's such a public job, for one, and two, it's very stressful because everybody comes to you wanting you to solve their problems, whether you can solve them or not.
Right?
You have your own problems, and it's like I had all this that I was dealing with, and I didn't have anything left in the tank to give to anybody else.
It's a common scenario, Michon, of people with autoimmune disease. They're givers.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in that tank to give.
No, I haven't had that in my tank for a long time to give what the people sitting in front of me were asking for. I just could not do that anymore. It was just difficult.
2 months ago, was when you started this program. Before you started, how did you find out about me, and what really was your biggest concern?
I found you on Facebook and I stalked you for 2 years.
2 years?
Yes, I did. I stalked you for 2 years on Facebook.
What took you so long, lady?
I was just so skeptical.
Really?
Like, will this really help? Will a difference really be made? you know?
Will this work and will this work for me were your two biggest objections?
Yeah.
How did you overcome will this work?
Well, I got to the point with the reflux where I just didn't want to live like that anymore.
You couldn't.
I mean, I didn't have any thoughts of like suicide or anything like that, but it had gotten to the point where life just wasn't worth living like that.
How did you realize, or did you even realize that in a couple of weeks the heartburn would be just gone?
I didn't know.
Because we have tons of case studies around this. Was that helpful, or was it totally just a leap of faith? Because I mean, I don't like people who just have faith. I like people to seek actual results, which is why anybody watching this video, we have a case study on every symptom, every diagnosis known to man with real people, real results. What did it take for you to realize this was going to work, or was it a hope and a prayer?
There was a lot of hope. And I also watched the videos and I saw other people on there, the heartburn had gotten better or had totally went away. So I had talked to my husband about it and I said, I need to do this. You know, I said, I can't deal with this anymore. It's not going to get any better. And I have got to do something. And I had him watch some of the videos too. And then he said, well, you know, go ahead and do it.
It might actually work. There's actually evidence.
Yeah, that might help.
A lot of evidence.
Yeah.
It's funny, we talk about evidence-based medicine, and there's all this evidence of this working for tons of people, no matter what the symptom is, right? That's what I feel like people could say, I'm skeptical, I've been tried a lot. I'm like, okay, you need to critically evaluate the evidence.
Right. And I really wanted to know the why. I wanted to know the why, and I wasn't getting the why. You know, like there's a reason why all this is happening, and I want to know what went wrong. What is going wrong inside my body that caused all this chaos to happen?
Now you know.
Now I know. Yes. So I don't regret it for a minute. I don't regret it at all.
You know, Michon, just from a nurse practitioner and someone working in the medical field point of view, like people think we have all the answers to this. We had all the training. They come to us. We're supposed to know all this about root cause or alternative medicine or hormones or digestion. In any of your training, did you receive any training on any of the stuff I just mentioned that's really your root causes?
No, I didn't. I didn't. And I told Gary, I was like, my gosh, if I had known this stuff a long time ago, number one, I'd have been a better practitioner.
Hell yeah.
Number two, I may not have ever developed an autoimmune condition.
Hell yes.
If I had known this stuff. So yeah, a lot of it was really eye-opening.
Me too. Like for me, and a lot of people like, had I known I'd done this, that, other. Well, you can change it now at this moment. Right. You can make that change right now. You know, you can reach out to our team, start a message chat with us. We can hook you up with some case studies to see some real results. But for me, I also take it as a pride and point, which is people are like, oh, but it may be too late for me. Bull crap. It's never too late for you. Number one. Number two, it's never too late for me to impact my children.
Exactly.
I mean, when you look at your children and I look at my children, I already see the signs of autoimmunity there because I teach you guys what those signs are. Mm-hmm. And little Michon at 7 years old with constipation, moodiness, insomnia. These are all signs of autoimmunity that could be stopped there. I mean, this education isn't just for us as the autoimmune sufferer, quote unquote, for you as a medical, possible returning to the medical field as a medical practitioner. That would be a game changer for your patients, for yourself. But also we have this huge obligation to impact our children.
Yes. And, you know, I see things in my own daughter. Maybe we can, you know, kill Godzilla before he rears his ugly head.
We say kill Godzilla while he's an egg.
Well, yes, while he's an egg. But yeah. You never know. He could have hatched and he'd be little. So, you know, we could kill him.
Kill him while he's little.
Yeah, kill him while he's small before he grows.
Small fry. Let's kill small fry.
Yeah.
Michon, thank you so much for this interview. And I'm really grateful that you were able to share so many details of your journey. And there were some surprises in there. Like you actually don't share that you used to work in healthcare.
I know. I don't do that very often. And that was a huge part of my life for a while until all this happened. I don't even tell my doctors. If I go to the doctor, I don't even tell them. And then when I start talking to them, they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, I'm a nurse practitioner. That's how I know that. Because I'll ask specific questions that nobody else apparently asks. And then they're asking, well, how do you know that?
Because I used to write those prescriptions just like you did all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
Michon, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking me.
Boy, that was a really great case study from Michon. And someone who's really struggled with alopecia areata, where the dermatologist really gave no hope of reversal with their creams and their procedures and what they said. And she's having hair growth back. And then heartburn being 85% gone already just in the past 2 months. That's huge, with constipation being relieved and just being happier. Who doesn't want to be happier? So listen, if you know somebody with that and you want them to get better, tag their name in the comment section now. If you're somebody suffering with any of these symptoms, tell me about what's going on with your autoimmune issues in the comment section, and check your Facebook Messenger requests. Maybe a couple hours from now, we probably have a case study to share with you with some results and some additional resources and information. If you want to learn more about the Transform Autoimmune program, there's a link above to chat us, or in the comment section. If you comment, check your message requests and check some requests from us, or join our Facebook group and our online community. Thanks, everybody.